Hey, what's going on everybody? So today I will be reviewing the Play Arts Kai Catwoman designed by Tetsuya Nomura. So this is the Play Arts Kai DC variant, second release. The first release was a Batman figure. And so this is just the cover, the front of the box, the side, the back, the other side, and top, bottom for those who want to see that as well. So I did open the box already. This is a clear window box. As you can tell, I already took the figure out. A nice image of a cat. And if you want to read the insert, the information insert, feel free to pause the video. For her accessories, there are 8 interchangeable hands, 2 being her default open palm hands. What I love about this figure is the paintwork. There's a nice shiny black finish as well as a light brown shaded paintwork on her palm. So one on each side, her left hand and her right hand. One left-handed stylized hand. As well as a right-handed hand to hold her whip. Keep in mind there is no left hand to hold her whip, so you only have one option. 2 trigger holding hands to hold her gun. And here's the right-handed side. And 2 open palm hands with her claws hanging out. As for her weapons, I did mention she does have a firearm, a nice pistol that's sculpted pretty well, pretty simplistic, nice black finish. Her other weapon is a whip. She does come with 2 versions. This one is the standard version. What I love about the paintwork and sculpt work of this is that not only does it have a nice shiny black finish towards the end, towards the tip of the whip, it is silver, a nice bright silver, and as it goes down, it gets darker until it has a nice shaded black. The second whip I mentioned earlier is more stylized, having all these spikes out. There is no silver towards the tip. It's just a black finish paintwork. However, it looks very nice. Keep in mind that both these tails are flexible, right? But not bendable. So be careful when you're trying to pose your figure. Do not bend these. These are, again, flexible due to the soft plastic, but it's not posable. So here's the figure. I really love the combination of colors on this figure. There is a nice blend of black, purple, and silver on her, as well as light brown shading around the body. And as you can tell, there is a translucent purple visor, which you could move up to reveal her eyes, which is a nice touch to it. Although I have one complaint is that when you close her visor, you could see her forehead, which from far distance, I don't know if you could tell from the camera, there's like a rectangle shape through the visor, which looks a little awkward. I wish they could have done something different about that, but other than that, as far as the head sculpt goes, very detailed, nice black shading around her helmet. For articulation, her hair can only move up and down, right? Really no side, I mean you could try to move it towards the side a little bit. But the main movement and articulation is only up and down. So you can't make any really stylized pose from the side. Her hair is flexible, a flexible plastic. I wouldn't suggest bending it though. So as far as her head articulation, it's a double ball peg. Here's the range of her movements. You can make her look up to that extent, right? If you move her hair a little higher. As the lowest, she could look down. Side movement, her hair does get in the way from her shoulder. So you do have some limitations while moving her head towards the side and to the other side. Alright. As far as her shoulder goes, this is a soft piece of plastic on her shoulder, but it does restrict some movement when you move her shoulder upwards. Right? You could do a whole 360 turn for her arm, which isn't bad. Again, the plastic can get in the way, so be very careful. And you can move it back almost through whole 360. As far as reaching across her chest, that's the limitation, right? Good posability. For her elbow, that's the extent of her bend, a nice 90-degree bend, right? And that's as far as you can bend it backwards. Now for her wrist joint, be very careful. It is fragile, but you could move it. I have heard a lot of complaints for Player Arts Kai where the wrist joints sometimes are very easily break, especially when you're changing her hands or equipment. So be very careful, right? So for her torso, there are two articulation, one for her lower waist and another for her upper torso, right? So good articulation there. As far as her leg articulation, she could kick forward to about that much, right? Before, again, the soft plastics will get in the way. Backwards to only about that much. Sideways. Now be very careful. Again, Player Arts Kai could have some QC issues or they're very fragile, so be careful when you try and pose the figure. To about that much. Not a lot of posability there. Oh, to about there, right? Sometimes plastic could get caught in between each other, so maybe that pose as a challenge for posability sometimes. So be careful when you're posing figures. There are a lot of soft plastic that could get in the way, that could make posing a little difficult. So articulation for the knees, you could bend it about a little above 90 degrees, which is good. So for her ankle, you could move it up and down. However, it is pretty stiff, but that gives you some more posability. Some toe swivel on the bottom. Again, sometimes Player Arts Kai could be very stiff. I wouldn't try forcing it. You could end up breaking the plastic. So a few things I just want to note before I finish off this video is that, one, you're probably going to have to use an action-based stand because her heels are just not the best way to make this figure stand. It's very pointy and there's really no stability when standing her. As well as her visor, again, I mentioned earlier, that rectangle on her forehead just looks a little weird. I also like to mention that you could put her whip / tail, whatever you want to call it, on her back, right? You could just connect it however you like. That's how it looks. Or you can make her hold it. There's one complaint I do have is that I wish there was a peg that you could just plug it into her back instead of having an attachment already out. This just makes it look weird if the hair doesn't cover it, which is a good thing. The hair does cover it, but if you're making some kind of stylized pose where the hair doesn't cover the back, it just looks weird. So I just wish the whip could have just been plugged or pegged into her back. As far as everything else goes, again, a very awesome figure. If you like the DC variant figures, I say collect this one. It will look great with your collection. Also, you could put her gun into her holster right here, right? Making it look a lot better if you don't want her to hold on to it. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And which DC variant figure do you like the best? Or I know they stopped making DC variant Player Arts Kai, but if they are to make another one, which Justice League member or DC comic character in general would you like to see get the Player Arts Kai treatment? So, again, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope this review was helpful, and have an awesome day.